That's one. That's two. Hi! I'm Mike Morales. You are watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our networks and channels. I'm here in San Antonio. That young man out there is
Matt Metris in Rochester, New York.
And Matt and I are, this has been a long time coming. There's been a comedy of errors, but we finally got the same bottle on both ends. This is Convite. This is a medley, however. This is a Espadín Madre Cuché. So it's some people call it an ensemble or ensemble. I like calling them medleys, but I thought, maybe medleys is something where you have three instead of just two. Maybe this is just a duo. I don't know.
I don't know.
I like the word medley. It just sounds more lyrical,
Yeah, it makes it sound fancier. It's a
bottle.
It's a very nice packaging.
Yeah, I do. I like it too. It's very clear. You can see it's obviously it's a Joven, unaged, and from what we can tell, it's got some decent bubbles. It is a 42 ABV, so it's. But now, Matt, you've had ensembles before, haven't you? You've had the blends.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I prefer them, just because if it's done correctly, the plant that they use don't fight each other. They actually complement. I mean, that's the idea,
Absolutely.
It's
almost like the beginnings of a cocktail, right? You get a couple different flavors going on, and you want them to work together and not against each other.
Right. Because otherwise you toss it down the sink or waste it or whatever. I've watched mixologists in action, experimenting with their cocktails, and a lot of it winds up down the drain, or if you're lucky enough, you could be the guinea pig and go, hey, I think this is okay. That I would taste this,
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're gonna give this one a try. I think the first thing that we gotta do is just open it, taste it, and then we'll tell you all the particulars. There's not a whole lot of information that we know, but Matt will fill us in on the process. I'm going to use my Stossel Jarrito for Mezcal. I like bubbles, man.
Yeah.
They weren't lingering too long, but they were nice. Again, it's a 42 ABV, so I know that lately that's been the trend. Instead of the 40 ABV, they're coming in as 42. I'm not sure. I still refer to them as gateways. So this is and at 42 ABV with a combination of a medley like this, it really I think is a good way for people to get a feel for what two different plants can do if they play nice.
Absolutely. Some nice tears on there. I can't really get it to show up on the camera, but
yeah, well, but it looks great. It looks great on you.
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't know if you can see that. I'll use a napkin. How's that? I'll use a white napkin.
Yeah, it's still hard to see, but they do look good in the glass.
To be fair, Matt's in his basement, and I'm in my dining room here with lights on, and it's a cloudy day, so the sun kind of fades in and out. But it is some really pretty tears, nice legs and tears, and we expect that from a mezcal.
I'm getting some nice aroma already.
You're just swirling it around. I haven't even smelled it yet. Oh my! Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's Espadín. A lot of Espadín right there.
There's a lot of plant. There's something almost minty that I caught. Like
right. I noticed that the look on your face was like really surprised. You didn't
like a spearmint or something that jumped out of there at me. Yeah.
To be honest, that we've had so many Espadines that I really look forward to the other plants, and many times the ensembles really work well. I think the first one I actually had was El Silencio. When it first came out, it was an ensemble.
Yeah, the Espadín is the pretty much go-to mainstream mezcal, and there's such a wide variety of plants that can be used in the production that it's nice to taste other stuff.
Well, they think I've heard it said that the ensembles and or medleys, whatever you want to call these, or the mixes or the blends, was really came into practice because it was just you run out of one plant, let's try something else. We got some of this, so let's just throw that in there and see what we come up with. And I still profess to this day, you can drink a good mezcal out of your tennis shoe, and it's just going to add another layer of complexity. It smells
There's
like
some racias that taste like tennis shoes.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, this is Nike. It's an Air Jordan kind of smell. Now, there's even a little bit. What do we know about the cooking? You mentioned those very briefly on the from the website. Are they still doing this? They have to be made a certain way. So this
artisanal.
Artisanal, yes.
And so they're using an underground stone oven, and then ground with a tahona, and fermented in wood vats, and just double distilled in copper. So pretty straight down the middle production.
I love this smell. It's almost the woodsy smell. For those of you who like gardening, and we tell people it's got a real green smell. If you've ever cut into something like a yucca, if you've got yucca on, I lived in the Southwest and the West. People have that as ground cover. We had it in our backyard when we were growing up as kids. And sometimes you have to hack it off, and you look at the inside. It's very fibrous. That's where all the plant holds its water. And when you cut something like that, it smells green, like you're cutting into a cane of something. Not a dry. It's not like all the moisture is just dried out of it. This is more green, and I get that smell. I know we talk about smells like fresh green agave as opposed to baked agave. But I think that the plant, the Madre Couche has a lot more fiber. It's a lot older. I think the plant itself takes a lot longer to grow than obviously the Espadín. So the character of that plant is going to come through as well.
Yeah, they said the Madre Couche they're harvesting at 13 years.
Wow. See, that's 13 years of drought and rain and whatever the terrain and terroir is of where it is growing. Do we know if these plants are wild harvested? Does it even tell us? I mean, I know
it doesn't say, unfortunately.
The Madre Couche has to be, because I don't think that's anything that anyone's growing from seed right now, except maybe one or two people. And even then, you got to wait 13 years to
yeah, exactly.
To get anything out of it.
Espadín's typically.
Let's jump in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I like that. Okay.
That mintiness, the mintiness you talked about, that's the Madre Couche.
Yeah, you really get a lot of that on the end, on the finish.
Yeah.
I get a lot of the Espadín flavors first. That traditional Joven Espadín Mezcal, you get it right in the center of your palate. And then the other flavors start to build around the edges. It's really neat.
Yeah. Wow, this is really... And it's coating the palate, too, and I'm not sure... I don't even want to call it smoke, because it really isn't. I think it's the essence of the plant. The smoke is minimal to almost non-existent.
Yeah. It's got a little bit of heat to it, but not the smokiness that you see in the really overly smoky ones.
Well, the heat, I think, is coming from the Espadín, because we had some really good ones. San Bartolo, I think, was one that we had, you and I believe, not too long ago, or probably by the time you folks see this,
Could be forever ago. Yeah,
could be forever. We're all quarantined, folks. This is almost the end of July, and you may be seeing this in November, and we could be out of. Yeah. Well, we invented social distance drinking. You know, we've been doing this for 20 years, 21 years now. So this is nothing new for us. But you know, now there's these beautiful mezcals, and I gotta tell you, man, this Convite, this is good. This is a great medley. It's not your, you know, it's not your average medley, because the Madre Couché is and I've had it on its own, and I love it. I love it. I love Tobola. We actually have a Tobola from these folks, but nobody else at this point in the United States has a bottle, and neither does Matt.
So I don't have one either.
I'm gonna reserve that one till either Matt and I are together, you know, at one point, or he gets a bottle.
Yeah.
But wow. So the mintiness, the woodsiness, the fibrousness of the Madre Couché really comes through. And then, as you said, the heat, I think it's espadín at the you said, frills on the edges.
I'm getting a little citrus too at the end. And it's weird. I'm trying to place it. The first pass I thought it was orange, and then the second pass I thought it was lime, like a zestiness right in the very front of my tongue.
I think maybe it's a grapefruit.
Mm-hmm.
Something like maybe a bitter orange or something.
Mm-hmm.
And the more
this really nice balance.
Yeah, the more it opens up, it just starts to bloom, because I thought even at some point I was getting a little bit of anise, just a hint.
Mm-hmm.
But once once through the intake, there was a lot more mintiness, more of the, like you said, spearmint. Not so much peppermint, but a spearmint.
Yeah.
Like
I enjoy letting this one sit for a half hour too and see where it goes. I feel like it's gonna mature a little bit right in the glass.
Well, you know, that's what if it's done well, that they generally do. That's why I hesitate often to say to Matt, or when we taste a mezcal, would you put this in a cocktail? You could, but I think before you decide this is cocktail worthy and this is sipping worthy, you should act, especially with mezcals, you really need to just let them sit, you know, go back to them frequently, see what else you're pulling out, because I know a lot of times we only do, like, you know, 12 to 15 minutes, but with a mezcal you could do 20, you could do a half hour and still keep coming up with more stuff.
Yeah. I'm getting a little bit of that anise now on this pass too, and also the finish is really short. I don't feel anything in my throat at all from this.
Yeah, it's like a medium to short. You know, everything happens. The explosion happens on the palate, on your tongue. Once you swallow it, you know, in fact, the retronasal is really nice as well. But yeah, the finish is. I think it's like a salsa. I like to tell people it's like a good salsa.
Yeah.
It builds and builds, and anybody who makes salsa with hotter peppers, like a habanero, you know, it's an art, because the idea is you want to go back for more and back for more, and then the heat starts to build, and then you got to back away, you know, and take a break, and then you go back to it because you know. Because salsa, or pico de gallo. Do we have a maestro mezcalero?
I did not see it on the website. It's hard to see on the bottle. It is kosher. There's a kosher logo on the.
Which leads me to believe that it's not it's a stone. The difference with the kosher is that the dirt can't touch the plant, so that's why the conical pit is made with rock. And chances are you might be able to find Convite in online on Instagram and see their method. I am going to snap the tag and see if it'll show me. There it is. I'm going to go to the CRM website. If you have a QR code reader, there's a holographic stamp, a holographic QR code, and you can it'll take you directly to what the CRM. It's the CRM version of the gnome list, and it's just Mezcal Convite. It's a Blanco Joven, 41.93. So that's technically a 42 ABV. Maguey Espadin and Maguey Cuichet, which is Agave Karwinski. And the Karwinskis are they're long. You've seen them, and they're rather fibrous. They almost look like huge pieces of wood, which explains the woodsiness that you get. And also it could be a little bit of the pine vat where it's fermented. Destilería Convite is where it's being made. And that's basically all the information. The CRM website, technically they're the only necessary information is the minimal information, and so a lot of times it's always a surprise to me who how much information is available from the CRM. Sometimes the manufacturer, the producer just puts a little bit, just the minimal information. Other times you get TMI. So much information, more so than they can fit on the label. There was no Maestro Mezcalero, so we're not sure who that is, who it could be. I don't know if there's anything else on the bottle that I can read.
It did say wild agave on there. That was one thing I noticed looking.
Well, the Karwinski has to be, because that's just not. It's not right now. I don't believe it's commercially. Oh, there it is. It's on the bottle. Maestro Mezcalero is Daniel Hernandez Montañez, I believe. MTZ is the abbreviation for the mother's maiden name. So there is a Maestro Mezcalero, but it's on the bottle, and it's not on the CRM website. So, what do you think, Matt?
Yeah.
Is this the real deal?
This is the real deal. Here's my thumbs up, because I still
got
to make my own sign.
Yeah, well, you downloaded it to the phones. I thought you just kept it. You should have.
I lost it. I had it printed out on a piece of paper, and I lost it.
It's a Brand of Promise nominee in the medley category. Beautiful rendition. I think it's because it's a 42. I believe it's a really good gateway, a really good example of how these medleys are. I've had medleys at much higher ABVs, and they're exquisite. And this one's not bad. This one's not bad at all. So, I'm not sure. Do we have a price point on any of this stuff?
So
it's fairly new.
Old Town is selling this for $52.95.
You know what? That's
reasonable.
That's reasonable. Yeah, I think it's very doable for those of you who are starting to experiment and explore and expand your palate. Certainly, give this one a try. I like where these folks are headed. Convite is headed. I wish I could show you the other bottles and do those, but poco a poco. As soon as Matt gets his other samples, we'll be able to go through those. But they do carry a Tobola, and they do carry an Espadin, which comes in a longer bottle.
They have 5 or 6 total, I think.
Yeah, they have several in that line, and it's just a matter of they're rolling them out slowly. But I'm anxious to see what Matt thinks of the Tobola. Once we do get those, hopefully if we get it by the end of 2020, great. If not, we'll record it. We'll tape the review, and then it'll be for 2021, because 2020 has just been brutal. We have had so many tequilas, and this is July. Technically, this is the fiscal year, beginning of fiscal year for a lot of companies, and more brands are coming. So we're just gonna keep tasting and dissecting and going from there. But anyway, that's our take on Convite. Don't forget to go find this. Old Town does a great job of packaging, and if they can mail this to if you're living in a state where you can receive packages, then certainly get yourself I think it's very reasonable. I think.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think this would be a good value mezcal as well?
Yeah.
Are we
I
asking
mean,
too much for it?
I think it's pushing the upper edge of value, but I think it could hold its own in that category.
I think so too. I think it's a very worthy nominee for a value category because 52. I gotta tell you, that's considering what the full the higher ABVs go for.
Mm-hmm.
And this being a Karwinski, which generally is much tougher to harvest and find.
That's going to drive the price up just by itself.
Yeah, I think so too. But anyway, that's our take on Convite. This is the Madre Couché Espadín medley or ensemble, or for your French ensemble. I don't know. but anyway, that's our take. I'm Mike Morales here in San Antonio. That gentleman out there is
at Metris in Rochester, New York.
You have been watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels. If you're listening to us, on your podcast, please download it wherever you listen to your podcast, like Spotify, or if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that every time that we upload a video with Matt, your cell phone will just light up. And whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely.